welcome. I am Eric Burns for the Primetime Sports Network and you are watching the 2019 Hanmore AmeriCar Championship Road Racing Series Season Review Series. Of course, this series will be looking over all the 4 classes of AmeriCar racing: AC1, AC2, AC3, and AC4. But in these first episodes, we will be looking at AC1. AC1, of course, the most traditional AmeriCar class. It has been featured in more than 40 years of technological development since the inception of AmeriCar back in 1978. This is the ultimate machine in this category of auto racing. It is purpose built for the performance and speed it brings up to the track. Active suspension, telemetry, traction control, and ABS braking systems are forbidden to be used in competition. However, that doesn't mean a lack of technology, because the composite bodies that have carbon fiber Kevlar and fiberglass are something from another world. And of course, the engines in these cars, the V8 engines in these cars, are something amazing, and these cars are truly monsters parading around the track. But this isn't the only thing we're gonna talk about. We are also gonna take a look at the season schedule, beginning at the circuit of the Americas, then going through the south to Road Atlanta, and then to Mexico City. Then we go to west to Provo, then we head to the Midwest for Mid-Ohio, and then we go to Canada for the first time in the year to Trois-Rivieres. We go to New Jersey and then Cleveland, then Road Gatineau, Daytona, and Road America. We go back to Canada for the third and final time at Motorsports, and then a northeastern sweep at Burlington, Watkins Glen, Lime Rock Park, and Cape Cod. Then we go to Las Vegas, AFD Raceway Park in Grand Junction, Colorado, and to close the season at Golden State Motorsports Park in Santa Clara, California. Let's also take a look at the point system for all 4 classes of AmeriCar racing. Everyone in the field gets points. However, 1st through 25th get more than 1 point. First gets 50 and it goes down until 6th place in increments of 4 points, and then from 7th on down to 15th in increments of 2 points. And then from 16th to 26th it's 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And for everyone that finished slower than 26, they also get a single point. Pole position gives away 10 points, leading a single lap leads 5 points, leading the most laps give you 10 points, and being the hard charger gives you 5 points. Now, let's take a look at the full-time field for the AC1 class, which is comprised of 22 drivers, representing 4 manufacturers. We of course begin by numerical order with the number 0 of BIGSBY FOOTE for the SPY network. Number 1 is Tony Bell for Hanmore Ross Racing, the 3-time champion seeking his 4th title. Paul Barnes Jr., a 4-time champion seeking the 5th title right as he announced he will be retiring at the end of this year. Number 3, Mariano Zavala, companion to Tony Bell at Hanmore Ross Racing. Number 4, Sam Duffy, making his debut for PBR Motorsports. He is expected to take over the number 2 of Paul Barnes Jr. next year. Libby Bell, arguably the lead driver at SPY Network, being flanked by Sarah Tops in the number 8. Number 9, Reed Bullitt for Heil Silver Motorsports, and then we have number 22, Caitlin Richler, making her debut for HQS Racing, and alongside her another debutante, LEXIE PERCY in the 31, hailing from Europe and Dash Cup. KARSON Garrison in the number 33 seeks to have a better performance this year for the Garrison Family Ventures. Number 34, Sydney Newcastle, one of 3 Australians in the full-time field. 48, Jeffrey Adkins achieved full-time funding to run this season, but he is still underfunded in comparison to the rest of the field. 49, Steve Barkle returns to the full-time fray as number 50, another European making their rounds in AmeriCar, Stasha Filipova, also hailing from Dash Cup with Hannigan Enterprises. 73, Lukas Kronenberg with Kronenberg Supersport. Had a very difficult season last year. We hope to see him bounce back. Number 77, the second of 3 Australians, Andrew Van Zandt for THUNDERSPORT. Number 79, the defending champion of the series, Max Gibson for Down Under Thunder. And then we have the 98 of Lucy Barton making her debut for Nelson Racing. 119 is the number of Vivian Arnold, daughter of Vince Arnold, running for her father's team. Then we have Natasha Pierce in the number 460 for Long Beach Autosport, and rounding out the 22 car field for the full-time challengers, Selena Van Dam in the 481, running for her family team. The field is set. Let's take a look at how the season went as it began at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Kicking off the season here in the Circuit of the Americas is the 49 of Steve Barco here at the Hanmore Lone Star Sports Car Classic. He leads the field to the green, and alongside him is the 24 of JJ Eastwood. And as you can see, we have an early contact between Mariano Zavala, Vivian Arnold, Stasha Filipova. The three go around, and then here comes JJ Eastwood making a move for the lead. He will take the first position away. At the conclusion of the first lap, you can see Lucy Barton and Lexie PERCY finding their way into second and into third and fourth, and then 3 laps later, here comes Lucy Barton to the inside of Steve Barco. Barco gets loose and Barton's gonna take the second position. And there comes the number 31, Lexie PERCY, goes through the 49, and Lexie PERCY's gonna run away with the third position. And then on lap 13, Lucy Barton's gonna go loose, and Lexie PERCY's gonna take second. On lap 13, Troy Cantrell loses the car, and he's gonna get stuck in the kitty litter. And that's not going to be a very good start of the season for him. By lap number 16, Eastwood leads PERCY, Barton, and BIGSBY FOOTE. Steve Barco has fallen to 5th place, and then Lexie PERCY gives a bump to Eastwood, bounces on the side, and Lexie PERCY is going to take the first position away from JJ Eastwood with only 6 laps to go. And she's gonna be able to successfully clear him as he tries his might, but he can't quite get a line. Lexie PERCY looks like she's gonna be able to shut the door on the 24 and hold the lead, and that would be the case until we get to the finish. And going uphill to get the checkered flag for the first race in the season will be debutante Lexie PERCY for HQS Racing. As you see the rest of the top 10, Lucy Barton took 3rd place, BIGSBY FOOTE 4th, Steve Barco 5th, Selena Van Dam took 6th, Carson Garrison 7th, 8th place was Jeffrey Atkins, a very good result for him. Greg Woodard, one of the 3 Master Cup drivers in this race, took 9th place, and the defending champion Max Gibson, a bit too far down than what we were expecting, takes the 10th position. Paul Barnes Jr. leads the field to the green for the second round of the season here in Road Atlanta, and he gets the green flag and already gets a jump on Selena Van Dam, though it's not really a good jump. But coming into turn 1 as the field pours down the first corner of this uphill section of the track, here comes Paul Barnes Jr. clearing Van Dam, taking the lead. Here comes Steve Barco challenging for the second position, and looks like he's gonna be able to get it through as they go downhill for the S's. Paul Barnes Jr. has already a big gap between him, Van Dam, and Barco, and there goes Paul Barnes Jr. with the lead. And there you see Steve Barco clearing the 481 of Selena Van Dam. He gets it through, and he's gonna retain the second position and is gonna start chasing down Paul Barnes Jr., though Barnes Jr. already opened a big gap. As we have contact between Sydney Newcastle and BIGSBY FOOTE, this race was filled with self-spins and small contacts like this between Caitlin Richler and Lukas Kronenberg. Kronenberg keeps his car straight. He'll only lose a few positions, but overall not a lot of damage. But here's an incident that's gonna cause a lot of damage. There goes Stasha Filipova uphill, hits the tire barrier, and the rear end of the car is scrunched in. As Hogan Dundee is gonna get together with BIGSBY FOOTE, they hit the wall hard and go around. They're gonna try to get it back going together, but it's a lot of damage on both automobiles, and they're gonna lose a lot of time. And here's an even bigger contact. Caitlin Richler and Vivian Arnold get together. They are still rubbing against each other, and they both go off, and both are gonna go into the concrete wall. Big hit. As you can see, both drivers stopped in that part of the track. A very unfortunate incident for both of them. as Steve Barco continues to lead the way. He's starting to chase down on Paul Barnes Jr., but he has a tire rub and is gonna have to go to the pits, and he will not be able to lead the pack no longer. There goes the race for Barco is done. He's gonna have to go to the pits, and it's gonna lose a lot of time. KARSON Garrison's gonna capitalize, take the second position, but he is simply too far away to make any difference. And rounding out the final couple of corners, here comes Paul Barnes Jr. to get a win already in the second race of the season, and Paul Barnes Jr. is gonna make it look easy here in Road Atlanta. Leading from flag to flag, he had a very good race. In second place will be KARSON Garrison, and then in third place is gonna be Selena Van Dam taking the third position. Then you have Libby Bell finishing in fourth, more than 10 seconds behind. Lucy Barton fifth, a good result for her. Jake Gilliam gets sixth place. Woody Watts seventh, Mariano Zavala eighth, Natasha Pierce ninth, and in a very far away, 40 seconds behind the leader, Andrew Van Zandt closes the top 10. And then you're gonna see the championship standings after the second round of the season, with Paul Barnes Jr. and Lucy Barton tied for the championship lead. Two very good results by Barton in those first two races guarantee her that position. KARSON Garrison really close in third place, 2 points behind. Selena Van Dam 4 points behind. Then you have Lexie, Percy, and Steve Barco 11 and 12 points behind. JJ Eastwood and BIGSBY FOOTE 15 and 16. One wonders how good could have BIGSBY FOOTE gone without wrecking tonight. And then closing the top 10, you have Libby Bell with 37 points behind and Natasha Pierce 38 points behind. You're gonna have to work a lot to get back at Paul Barnes Jr. as we head into the third race of the season. Race 3 of the AmeriCar season begins here in Mexico. Lexie Percy gets the pole position. We have a few locals starting this race, and this race began under heavy rain, and you can see the 4-5 wide going on. Vivian, Arnold, the 72, the 38, and the 50 of Stasha Filipova all involved in a Shamazo in the first turn. Coming out of the chicane, a big mess. At least 6, 7, 8 cars involved. Another big contact as Lexie Percy and Mariano Zavala just run away with the first and second positions as we hit lap number 3 of 30 scheduled for this 75-mile race. And as you can see, the only contact that would result in a retirement, Selena Van Dam and Andrew Van Zandt get together. Van Zandt gets stuck on the tire barrier. That car is done for the afternoon as Sydney Newcastle sends Natasha Pierce around. You can see the green streak on those rain tires. And there you see as the leaders lap those two lap cars, the 95 and the 119. Lexie Percy has a good time, but Mariano Zavala almost doesn't. As the 119 and the 95 get together, things could have turned for the worse right there, but they do not. Lexie Percy dominates and will take a very easy going win here in the Mexico City Autodrome. She takes her second win of the season. Mariano Zavala follows. Reed Bullitt gets a very good third place. Tony Bell fourth. Steve Barco a solid fifth. Paul Barnes Jr. continues his streak of great results with a sixth place. BIGSBY FOOTE seventh. KARSON Garrison the 33 and 8th place. And then you have Marcelo Cubilla and Luisa Caballero, the two locals, finishing in 9th and 10th, surviving throughout this 30-lap race. The fourth race of the season starts here in the Provo Motorsports Park in Utah. And as you can see, Lucy Barton took the pole position, had a very good start over Max Gibson, but coming out of turn number 1, Max Gibson already goes for it. Here comes Gibson and Zavala going into turns, and there goes 3 wide between Zavala, Gibson, and Barton is gonna have to give away the positions, and there it's gonna become a battle between Gibson and Zavala. Zavala fighting with Gibson for that first position. Is gonna be a very close quarters fight as we enter lap number 2. Gibson on the inside getting the lead. Max you have Kronenberg taking the third position, and then you have contact between the 4, the 119, and Natasha Pierce gets the worst of that in the 460. She's gonna have a lot of damage, and then Vivian Arnold and Leroy Maestas get together, and that involves the number 4 of Sam Duffy. A lot of trouble in a really short notice, and that would be essentially the only signs of trouble throughout this whole race. As Max Gibson continues to lead over Zavala, Zavala would get loose trying to lap Sam Duffy, and here comes Stasha Filipova to the inside of number 3, and there she goes through him on lap number 27, and by lap 29 KARSON Garrison already going by the number 3, and here comes, but coming to 3 laps to go, Filipova and Zavala ran over debris and both had to come into the pits with tire problems. And coming to the final lap, Max Gibson has an engine failure and starts to slow down coming to the final turn, and this is gonna cost him the win as he comes around the final corner with no speed at all. He's gonna fall down position by position as KARSON GARRISON is gonna take the lead at the final corner and win here in Provo, stealing this win from out of nowhere after Max Gibson had problems. Paul Barnes Jr. will take second, Libby Bell third, Lucy Barton fourth, BIGSBY FOOTE fifth, LEXIE PERCY sixth, Tony Bell seventh, Steve Barkos and Selena Van Dam closed the top 9 as Max Gibson dropped 9 seconds from the lead to 10th place after leading the most laps. LEXIE PERCY is gonna steal the championship lead over Paul Barnes Jr. KARSON GARRISON close by 15 points behind, and then from Lucy Barton on down, people are gonna have to work a lot to get back into the fight. The 5th race of the season is here in the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course, the first of 2 races in this state. As you can see, Tony Bell took the pole position and is already running away with the lead as he fights Stasha Filipova out of turn number 1, and he'll be able to secure the first position as we come into the hairpin. And as you follow Stasha Filipova, who settles very nicely into 2nd place, but by lap 13 she'd be passed by Tony Bell. As you see, she's still on that position, but soon after she'll be passed by the number 2 car. But here's the thing that happened. For some reason on lap 18, Tony Bell and Paul Barnes Jr. had to pit together with LEXIE PERCY. We don't know if they ran over something or if it was just a setup blunder, but that gave the lead away to Stasha Filipova. Filipova leads by lap number 19. And if you want to know what's the only eventful happening of this race, it was this. On lap number 23, Lucy Barton blowing up. This is not something she needed for the championship, but up front, it will be very smooth sailing for Stasha Filipova as she gets her first AmeriCar Championship Series win. Finishing in 2nd place will be Sydney Newcastle, Adam Patterson and BIGSBY FOOTE, and Troy Cantrell close out the top 5. Mariano Zavala, Jack Patterson, Steve Barkos, KARSON GARRISON, and Vivian Arnold close the top 10, getting all good results. Leading the field to the green here in the Trois-Rivieres Grand Prix, the first of 2 races AmeriCar holds here in Trois-Rivieres. Selena Van Dam, she already has a very solid start side by side with Mariano Zavala, but she edges him out coming out of the turn 2 and blocks him coming into the 3rd turn, and here they come downhill into the plaza under the bridge. Let's see how they go. They go at fine. Under the arc, actually, not bridge. By lap number 2, Paul Barnes Jr. a hard hit on the tire barrier. His day is gonna be over. And then we have contact between Vivian Arnold and Andrew Van Zandt. Van Zandt's race will also be over with that damage. Not a very good start. By lap number 3, Jeffrey Adkins, a thing that he could not afford, a big hit on lap number 3, and then an engine failure for Jack Patterson in the 41 by lap number 7. A few incidents that those people could not afford. By lap 20, Selena Van Dam has already led much of the race and she has run away with the position. And as you can see, by lap number 28, she has a tire failure. She has to be forced to pit. Same with Mariano Zavala. We don't know what happened. We haven't seen any contact around them, so we can only chalk it up to tire failures, as Libby Bell's gonna take the lead by lap number 30, and with only 20 laps to go, she's gonna have a tire failure and gonna have to the pit. A very chaotic string of races since Provo with tire failures, engine failures, car problems. This is gonna leave Max Gibson in the first position in the driver's seat to win this race, as by lap 41, Mariano Zavala trying to catch up. Driver mistake, he's gonna be done for the day with only 10 laps to go. And as you go together with Lucas KRONENBERG, Libby Bell suffers the same fate as Zavala and she's gonna be done. And then we have a big crash between the number 19, the 481 of Selena Van Dam, and LEXIE PERCY. PERCY got the brunt of that, and Van Dam also got a lot of damage, but she would try to bring the car home, but that would be impossible for her to do. She's gonna pull it out into the middle of the track and it's gonna be day over for her. But in the meantime, Max Gibson will capitalize on everyone's failures and problems and will take his first win of the season finally here in Trois-Rivieres. Lucy Barton gets a very good second place. Stasha Filipova follows up on her win with a third place. Steve Barco coming back into the fold in fourth. Tony Bell, Lou Murray closed the top 6. Then you have Reed Bullitt with a very solid result. Then Dan Francis Jr. 21 seconds behind. Natasha Pierce, a very huge climb together with Sarah Tops to close the top 10. And after these very important weekends to the championship, we have a 3-car fight for the title between Karson Garrison, Steve Barco, Lucy Barton. Then you have Lexie Percy, Paul Barnes Jr., Tony Bell, Bigsby Foote, Selena Van Dam, Max Gibson climbing up, and Libby Bell closing the top 10 as we head into the 7th weekend of 19. Leading the field to the green here in New Jersey is Adam Saylor. Alongside him is Mariano Zavala as they come down into the first corner. Saylor got the lead, but then we're gonna see a big mess on lap number 1 going uphill. Sarah Tops into the back of the 98, but that's not all that. As you see, Barton, Vivian Arnold, Selena Van Dam, Natasha Pierce, Stung Gustafsson all get involved in this spill. Lucy Barton did not need that at all. And as you see, coming off of that trouble, Mariano Zavala is gonna power through the 0-2 of Saylor and is gonna steal the lead away, and he's gonna open a bit of a difference already right there. But then you're gonna see another nasty spill as Lexie Percy into the back of Mike Rowe, and Rowe almost takes a very nasty hit. You're gonna see the seat of Stasha Filipova as Rowe slides across the track right in front of the 48 of Jeffrey Adkins. That could have been a very nasty wreck. As you see Zavala lead the way with Bell, Foote, Gibson, and Saylor following him behind as Lexie Percy's day of disaster continues as she takes a spill off track and damages the rear end of the car. Another one taking a spill off track into the grass is the 4 of Sam Duffy, and he's gonna avoid damage. But by lap 23, Mariano Zavala has opened a big gap, and while Libby Bell was able to shave some of it, she simply does not shave enough, and Mariano Zavala is gonna take the win, a very dominant win here in New Jersey. Finishing in second place obviously will be Libby Bell, and then in third Bigsby Foote, Max Gibson, and Steve Barco climbed his way to fifth as Tony Bell, Jeff Adkins, Stasha Filipova will finish 6th, 7th, and 8th. Adam Saylor continued to fall down to 9th place, and Sydney Newcastle closed the top 10. The 8th round of the championship takes place in the Cleveland Lakefront Airport in Cleveland, Ohio. Stasha Filipova takes the pole position and she leads them away as Paul Barnes Jr. and Lexie Percy fend off for second place. As there you see Filipova going away with the lead as we have contact between Jeffrey Adkins and Steve Barco in the first lap, but that would not be over for Barco as he goes around alone and gets struck very hard by Natasha Pierce, and his race is gonna be definitely be over now. So will be Pierce's race, only 3 laps in. By the time we get to 1/3 of the race done, Filipova leads Percy, who leads Barco, who leads Barnes Jr. And there you see the engine going off on Caitlin Richler's car at the lap 24 mark. At the lap 26, it's time for Lucy Barton's no good, miserable sequel of races to go down. So goes to Karson Garrison, but up front it will be easy pickings for Stasha Filipova to take another win of the season. This will be win number 2 for the Russian. Let's first see the results as Lexie Percy finished 2nd, Libby Bell 3rd, Paul Barnes Jr. 4th, Sam Duffy 5th, Zavala, Kronenberg, Foote, Gibson, and Arnold closed the top 10. The championship standings after 8 of the 19 races see Steve Barco lead Lexie Percy and Bigsby Foote by a single point. The only reason Percy is ahead of Foote in the standings is because she has previously won. Paul Barnes Jr. only 7 points behind. Filipova jumps to only 8 points behind. She made it 6 positions from the last 2 races to now, as Libby Bell gains 4 positions to be in 6th place. Mariano Zavala is in 7th. Tony Bell falls to 8th. Karson Garrison falls 8 positions from 1st to 9th place after 2 very awful weekends, and Lucy Barton, after even worse weekends, drops 7 positions from 3rd place to 10th place. The 9th race of the season is under monsoon conditions here in the Road Gatineau Raceway. Lukas Kronenberg leads the field to the green, and we already have a couple of people trying some moves early on. Stasha Filipova forces the 3 wide, but then we have contact right behind them, and it's a mess involving all of the leaders. At the first turn of the first lap, you see Tony Bell, Steve Barco, Max Gibson, Sarah Tops, the 73 of Kronenberg who took the pole, and Stasha Filipova, all involved in this big schmozzle. But lap 1 debacle's not over, as you see the 19 of Clyde Snyder, Karson Garrison the 33, and then you see the 31 and the 460. Paul Barnes Jr. takes the 3rd position as BIGSBY FOOTE going after the number 6. Here we go, we have a battle for the lead, and BIGSBY FOOTE looks like he's gonna win that out in this lower section of the track. As we come into another fast section, he gets loose, but he keeps on fighting. BIGSBY FOOTE continues to lead the way as Clyde Snyder gets into the back of Jeffrey Adkins, and both go around into the kitty litter. Not a very good start of the race for Clyde Snyder, and this was just on lap 1. At the start of lap 2, Steve Barco and Tony Bell go off track. Together with them is Vivian Arnold, and then Jeffrey Adkins off again, and then Libby Bellin, Dave Farrell, and Lucy Barton, and then the 20 choke Caitlin Richler and Mariano Zavala all go off track at the same time. 5 cars in the kitty litter, and then you have Selena Van Dam going off. By lap number 3, BIGSBY FOOTE opened a big gap over the rest of the field. By lap 5, there you see Reed Bullitt, Andrew Van Zandt, and the 74 of Jack Halleck all off track. And then you see the first larger contact as Sydney Newcastle and the 18 get into hard hits, and that's a hard hit for the number 34. The race for Castle would be over as Clyde Snyder is gonna slide off, and he's gonna run, and he's gonna get run in by his teammate and flip over as Sarah Tops also gets involved. A ginormous wreck, and we're only 5 laps into this race. In the meantime, taking 2nd place will be Max Gibson, as 3rd place will be Jake Gilliam. In the meantime, Natasha Pierce in the rear of the field will go off, and she will stall the car as her teammate runs in the 3rd position, having a fantastic run. Her day just not that good. A very miserable day for Natasha Pierce in the 460. But in the meantime, leading the way is BIGSBY FOOTE as Max Gibson chases him, and FOOTE gets loose and goes off track. The rain has caught everyone, and he was just caught off guard by himself. And as Max Gibson leads the way after taking the lead, he loses it himself as well. He goes off track. He's gonna be able to get that car straightened up. He's gonna be able to get back going, as he is gonna force his car into the grass so he can at least get away from the mess. But BIGSBY FOOTE's gonna regain the lead with only 4 laps to go, and getting the white flag, he leads the way, has a pretty hefty difference over the rest of the field. And coming into turn number 1, he's gonna lose it! BIGSBY FOOTE has lost the lead, and he goes off wide as Max Gibson, you see there, goes through, takes the 1st position, and it will be all she wrote, as Max Gibson's gonna round out the final couple of corners here in Road Gatineau to win an absolute mess of a race. Max Gibson's gonna be the survivor in this mess of a race. Taking 2nd place will be Jake Gilliam, who passed BIGSBY FOOTE, who ended 7 seconds behind after leading the most laps. Sam Duffy, Mariano Zavala after spinning around, Selena Van Dam after spinning around, Tony Bell after spinning around, Lucy Barton after spinning around, Caitlin Richler after spinning around, and Carson Garrison after spinning around will close the top 10 as we enter the halfway point of the season. We hit the halfway point of the season at the Daytona International Speedway for a 4th of July race. Dave Farrell, a surprise pole position in the number 26. He's a part-timer, and he beat names like Steve Barco and Mariano Zavala, who start right behind him. Zavala gets already slotted in 2nd place by lap number 1, and here we have the only notable incident of the race that we could see. That was Lukas Kronenberg losing control of his car, going off track and getting some damage on the side. Aside from that, by lap 7, Kronenberg and Zavala already checked out from Barco, and by lap 14, Farrell already checked out from Zavala as Barco caught the number 3. And as you're gonna see the onboard camera of Farrell, he had no issues going by Kronenberg after Kronenberg pitted. On that lap, he uses Kronenberg as a pick to run away, and that would be that, as by lap 21, no one could catch him, and Dave Farrell gets a fantastic win for the underfunded guys here in Daytona. 2 seconds, 0.4 behind was Mariano Zavala. Steve Barco followed him as BIGSBY FOOTE and Andrew Van Zandt closed the top 5. Sam Duffy, Tony Bell, Natasha Pierce, Jeffrey Adkins, another underfunded guy, and Jake Gilliam closed the top 10. As we wrap up half of the season so far, we have some changes. BIGSBY FOOTE gained 2 positions and passed Steve Barco for the lead and opened a huge gap due to the results at Gatineau. He gets 34 points over Mariano, 34 points over Barco, 35 over Zavala, and then 54 over Max Gibson, as Tony Bell and Lexie PERCY are tied for the 5th position, 60 points behind. Libby Bell 80 points behind, Paul Barnes Jr. 87 points behind, Carson Garrison 89, and Nastasha Filipova 93 points behind. At this point, people will need not only a lot of luck, but a complete tour de force to take the lead away from BIGSBY FOOTE. This is all the time we have for now. We are done with the first of 2 episodes of the AmeriCar Championship Road Racing Series season review for the AC1 class, and on the next episode you are gonna see the conclusion of the 2019 season. For the Primetime Sports Network, I am Eric Burns. See you next time.